The world is a beautiful but challenging place to live. And let's face it, life hits hard sometimes. So if you find your hopes and dreams and mental well-being needs a boost, you're tuned into the right podcast. Welcome to Inspire Us with your host, J. Paul Nadeau, a former hostage negotiator turned motivational speaker and best-selling author. And now, here's your host, J. Paul Nadeau.
Hello, and welcome to Episode 2 of Inspire Us. I'm your host, Paul Nadeau. I'd first like to thank each of you who tuned into my first show and to those who subscribed. And to all of you listening, to all of you who may feel alone, anxious, or depressed, thinking that nobody understands what you're going through or that nobody could possibly know what it's like to be you and how hard it is to be in your skin, I'm happy that you're all here. Hold on to hope that we're all going to get through this together. I have some wonderful guests lined up, and I'll be sharing some information. They'll be sharing some information that I know is all going to be great. Now, today's show is about how we sometimes find ourselves happy and fine one minute, and then slip into sadness, anxiety, or depression the next. How does that happen? Sometimes it's because of circumstances that are out of our control that brings that darkness on, or sometimes it's a sudden change in circumstances, be it a relationship or financial, whatever. Is there a way to prevent ourselves from slipping into a dark place and choosing a positive mindset despite what happens to us? I believe there is. So I'm going to call this episode Light to Dark to Light Again. I'm going to start off with a quote from a movie that some of you might recognize. It's from the Rocky series. Remember Rocky's quote to his son outside his restaurant in the Rocky Balboa movie? In the scene, Rocky's son resents his dad because his own life isn't going the way that he had hoped, and he feels like he's merely a shadow to people because of his dad's success. And Rocky finally decides to call him on it and tells his son this. He says, "Let me tell you something that you already know. The world ain't all sunshine and rainbows. It's a very mean and nasty place. And I don't care how tough you are, it will beat you to your knees and keep you there permanently if you let it. You, me, or nobody is going to hit as hard as life. But it ain't how hard you're hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. How much you can take and keep moving forward. That's how winning is done." So that is the quote, the wonderful quote from that movie. And I also feel that it is a life lesson. If there's anything that we know for certain, it's that life is so unpredictable. We have no idea what awaits us next. We have no control over what awaits us next. But we do have control over ourselves. The coronavirus taught us that by smacking us upside the head with that truth, it kind of woke us up to the fact that we need to be strong no matter what our circumstances. So, if we've been knocked down to the mat, if you've been knocked down to the mat, don't give in. Whatever the circumstances is, it's not only our job to get back up on our feet, but it's also our responsibility to help others get back on their feet too. We're in this together, folks. We're side by side. It's almost as though we're rowing down a river, and everybody has got their oar and they're pulling their own weights. And sometimes you're going to be tired and you're not going to be pulling one day because you don't have the strength to. That's when the person sitting next to you says, "Hey, can I help? Can I help you row? And tomorrow maybe you can help me." That's the way it is. One of the things that I'm quite concerned about, and I was talking about this to people, is that I'm worried that we're going to have casualties, people who succumb to fear, uncertainty, loneliness, and confusion, and that what they're going through may prove to be greater in the end than the effect of the virus itself. We may have a lot of people who are going to be suffering from post-traumatic stress and who are going to have a hard time getting back on their feet. And I don't want that to happen. And I'm sure nobody else out there wants it to happen either. So let's not let it happen. And if you find yourself in a dark place right now, know that it's okay to reach out to someone who can help you back to your light. I spoke about light carriers in my first podcast, and some people's light is just brilliantly beautiful. So find those people. Don't avoid the wonderful people in your circle who can help you out, and give them a chance to be the light that you need right now. And one day, you get to be the light for someone else. That's the way it works. And if you find yourself really struggling and nobody's around, it's okay to call a distress center. Do everything that you possibly can to get out of the dark place. That's the topic for today, how to find the light in even the darkest of situations. We all slip from light to darkness sometimes, but how long it takes us to get back to the light is really up to us to start. Sometimes it's a matter of a simple mindset shift. Now, some people who look for the light find it easier than others. There are those who look for light despite whatever darkness hits them. When they find themselves being sucked into darkness, those life-suck-so-bad situations, they choose to keep moving through that dark hole until they find their way into the light again, often with the help of others, because they know that there is light at the end of the tunnel, if they only work to find it. They refuse to stay in the heaviness and the destructiveness of the darkness, trying to suck the joy and the life out of them. Who wants to stay in that for long? So, what is it that they do that maybe others don't? One of the first things is that when darkness first appears, they acknowledge it. They become aware of those knocking at the door trying to get in. They don't give in to the self-sabotaging voices trying to get into their heads and taking control. They immediately begin to drown out those voices that want to take them hostage and keep them locked up in cages of their own making, and they replace it with some positive thoughts. They deploy their self-preservation backup team and kick those voices out. They also understand that they are the landlords of their own thoughts, and these new darkness tenant wannabes have no right to just move in. If you deny the darkness, if you deny that heaviness to take control of your thoughts, they'll get the message. And if those voices are ones that you've heard before, give them a name and tell them to get the heck out. You're closed. For example, you hear voices that you've heard before, give it a name. Call it dummy. And as soon as dummy starts trying to get into your head, just tell dummy to get the heck out. Hey, dummy, you're not welcome here. Get out of here. I've seen you before, I've heard you before, and I don't want you in my life. Get out. So give it a name, label it, and get them out. How do you move through the darkness? First, go into your heart, and go into the heart of your fears and your worries. When you face your fears, you begin to disempower them. Yes, all the worst things in life could happen, but when you examine that fear and anxiety for what it is, without dwelling on them and giving them the power to control you, you come to realize quickly that worrying about them won't make things any better. So why do we do it? What purpose does dwelling on worry possibly serve us, other than to mess us up? Sure, there are things that we have no control over, and life does suck sometimes. But what we do have is the ability to control our thoughts, to change our circumstances, and to respond to what happens to us. Focusing on the darkness and remaining a hostage to it won't help you find the key to that cage and set you free. The problem with darkness is that it clings to things, and it becomes addicted to outcomes. When we lose focus of the journey that we're on and look solely at the outcome, we miss the magic of the journey. We miss the now, the moment we're in. Darkness often stays because people fail to acknowledge how much they can't control in life and don't look hard enough for what they can control. Once we acknowledge the truth that life holds very few guarantees, we get to focus on the things that we can control, and that leads to happiness and results. Focusing on guarantees and outcomes robs us of the joy of experiencing our journey, our moments. Some of the people who see the light most tend to be the ones who have seen how wrong things can go. When you've seen how horrible it can all go, then you realize that the only right response to any of this is to cherish this moment, this immediate moment, and take control. So, where's the key? The key is the moment you're in, right now. It is the now. Realize that despite what may lie ahead, you have this moment in time to create whatever joy and feelings that you wish. You get the now to experience the moment, whatever it is. The company that you're with, the work that you're doing, the beauty all around you, you get to experience that. It's up to you how you experience it. In this moment, you get to influence the outcome. You get to pick your state of mind. What happened in the past is in the past. And what the future holds is not guaranteed. But this moment is within your control. So make the best of this moment by choosing how you feel. Here's an exercise. I want you to do it. I'm going to do it. Make a fist. Make a fist right now. Imagine all your fears and your anxiety and your worries in that fist. Now squeeze your fist as tight as you possibly can until it hurts. That's it. Hold it for a second, and now stop and slowly open it. Feel the difference? Once you choose to release the anxiety and the stress and opening the grip, you begin to heal. And you also allow the universe to know that you're open to something greater than the darkness that you found yourself in. Now that you're open and projecting positive energy over negative energy, the world around you changes. It's the law of attraction, and your light will return. Happiness is subjective. It is not a direct result of what is occurring externally to or around us that creates happiness. Rather, it is what is happening internally within us that determines happiness. And we have the incredible ability to change our states of mind to receive that happiness that we so richly deserve. It's a choice, folks. How we respond to what happens to us and how we choose to feel is a choice. And if we find ourselves in that dark place and we just can't see the light right away, we need to change our surroundings. We need to change our thoughts. And sometimes we need to change our company. We need to go and meet somebody and talk to somebody. Our happiness is based much on our life experiences, yes, on our upbringing, sure, on our personal tastes and our choices, but it is also on what we decide in the moment. We decide to be happy. Nothing can make us happy. It is internal. That's what makes us happy. We are beautiful, unique individuals living very different experiences than most of us around us, but we are also more similar than we are different. Happiness is a choice to experience, to create, and to feel, and so it is our right to choose to be happy. It is within our power to do exactly that, to take control of our life one day at a time, and to marvel at the wonders that await us. So thank you very much for listening. Please subscribe and share this message. If you're going through a dark time right now, reach out to a light source. You're stronger than you think. And if you happen to be one of those bright lights out there, keep it lit, keep it shining, and share it with others. I look forward to our next show and to speaking to you again. Take care.
Thanks for listening. Tune in next week for another insightful episode. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button and leave your comments. For more information, check out our website at www.inspireus.ca. Remember, it's not what happens to us that matters most. It's how we respond to what happens to us that does. Stay strong and resilient.